Listen, joining us now, the head softball coach of the West Coast Conference champions, the inaugural season of the WCC. He is the man in charge of the BYU Cougars on the diamond. His name is Gordon Eakin. Coach, welcome to BYU Sports Nation. You don't have much time to prepare to get to Seattle. You're already on the road again, but we wish you congratulations on all you've accomplished this season thus far.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad to be joining you.
A 15-game win streak, Coach. At the beginning of the season, you always play a tough non-conference schedule. You had a losing record there for a while, but you've turned it around, especially in conference play. What changed for your team?
Experience and your show. What I want to know is if the first thing I want to know is if I get the same kind of karma you've given to all the players each week as they've been on your show, because without exception, every player has come away and had an incredible weekend after being on your program.
Absolutely, you get that BYU Sports Nation karma, Coach.
Perfect.
And I think it really, I mean, it could scatter over the whole team through you. I'm not sure how this works. But I do know this, that your calls as the third base coach will be impeccable and amazing. Runners are going to come flying around. You're going to wave them in when you normally wouldn't have. They'll score. I mean, stuff's going to happen.
I like it. So I'm glad I made time for this. And I guess to tell you what has changed is experience. As you have interviewed one freshman after another, or one underclassman after another, we've got a group of players that are young and inexperienced, and early on they needed to experience Division I softball, which is at a much higher level than they were used to. And McKenna Bull couldn't, throw one down the middle and get away with it anymore. And so it was a learning experience for them, and gaining that experience through the non-conference schedule and tough competition was just invaluable. And it started to click about halfway through the year, and you link that young talent with the experience that we had on the team with, the seniors that are playing well for us, and it just started working for us.
Gordon Eakin, the head softball coach at BYU, in his 12th season in charge, 4 championships in 4 different conferences. We'll get to that in a bit. Let's talk about the youth movement that you've brought up with McKenna Bull, your pitcher, and Sydney Broderick, your outstanding catcher from Virginia. We had Mackenzie St. Clair in here. When you look at the wealth of freshman talent that you have, how do you not get a little bit giddy about what the prospect of BYU softball holds in the future?
Yeah, well, I do get giddy about it. It's, we've had 6 freshmen starting in our lineup all year long, and then a sophomore in Gordy Bravo, and Coco Talalii, another sophomore, had significant playing time for us. So we were very young, and it is very exciting to see that talent level compete at such a high level, and the prospects that gets us for the future.
Gordon Eakin is on BYU Sports Nation, the BYU softball coach, as they prepare for the NCAA Regionals starting Thursday in Seattle. 4 different conferences in 4 years. That's challenging enough just to manage that, let alone win the championship in those conferences. What does that mean to have been, going to and fro different conferences, but you still have won the championship?
Well, it's been a fun ride, I'll tell you that, playing in 4 different conferences and in all the different venues. I would say that having experienced it, the process and winning in 4 different conferences was a wonderful experience. But I can also say I wouldn't want to do it again. So hopefully we found a home and we won't make it 5 in 5 next year. Although, if that's the case, we'll go where they send us, and we'll play and compete and hopefully win there as well.
We're talking with Gordon Eakin, the head softball coach at BYU, on his way to Seattle currently to play in the NCAA Regional. You have Northwestern up first. What do you know about the Wildcats as far as a scouting report and getting to the winner of Iona and Washington?
Well, Northwestern is extremely well coached. They're disciplined. They're aggressive. They've got a potent offense, aggressive on the base pass. So they're just a solid team, and we're going to need to play a solid game to beat them. And then once we're through that game, we'll worry about the the game after that, whether it's Washington or Iona. Washington is an extremely talented team, but we won't start thinking about or worrying about them until our game with Northwestern is over.
You shaved your mustache. What went into that decision? I know that wasn't easy.
I guess I wanted to look more youthful. I don't know.
Fair enough. Well, there's one thing that Northwestern does not have, and that is the BYU Sports Nation karma, Coach. So now that you have it, we wish you the best of luck in Seattle, and we'll certainly be watching and rooting for you as the Cougars take on the Wildcats.
I like it, and feel free to take any of our players anytime because that karma is real.
You got it. Thanks, Coach.